Great. So if I can take the questions to a very far boundary and you can maintain the same ethics, then that just proves consistency. And with consistency comes legitimacy of a philosophy. So the next question, it's about zip codes, but I would really like for zip codes to represent a metaphor for just all business transactions across our country.
Okay.
So here's the question. How would zip codes maintain order in Texas with the remainder of the country if all the government in Texas is abolished with your not governorship? Does the question make sense? How would like postal services maintain being organized whenever shipping from one side to another country or another area that doesn't have a government?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Would there be complications?
There are systems of organization imposed on us that are nonetheless useful. Everybody in the country, well, almost everybody in the country has a social security number. That's a mostly unique identifier that can be used in databases across the world to associate information with somebody. Driver's license number, same thing. Zip code, address. These are all useful data points that can be used to provide services to people. There are also plenty of non-coercive examples of the same types of organization in the free market through cooperation. For example, telephone numbers, area codes. That's just a bunch of phone companies agreeing to use the same number for each house or each phone connection. IP addresses on the internet are another perfect example of that. Everybody that's on the internet worldwide are certainly under no coercive system that requires them to use the same IPv4 addressing system, which everybody on the internet has a unique IP address. So if I want to talk to somebody across the world, I'm speaking the same language and talking to the same address because all the private companies involved, and there are a lot of them in between me and somebody on the other side of the world, they've all agreed to use the same communication platform, the same metric or the same identifier for each person on the network. There are tons of these, and I call it cooperation because you have competitors, but they realize that to serve their customers better or best, they do have to cooperate with each other in some ways. Again, mobile phones are an excellent example. Like in the very beginning, there was, you could send unlimited text messages to other AT&T customers if you were an AT&T customer, but to text another company's customer, there were fees, a lot of fees involved. Well, the market said, no, that's dumb. We want to text everyone. And so the phone companies had to create new infrastructure and interoperate with one another to allow you, when you send a text message on AT&T, to transmit across competitive boundaries to reach the other company's customers. So these are just some examples of, I think, the utility that zip codes provide in a free market.
I think that's a great point of reference, using the phone companies and IP addresses because it creates a parallel. And if we can use that perspective and apply it to postal services or zip codes as well, then it creates more legitimacy within the philosophy because it's more consistent. So yeah, I think that's a very insightful answer. And you actually answered the next question that I had for you. It was about social security numbers and how
I used my time machine to see that question ahead of time, and so yeah, that's how I knew I was going.